Hi everybody, I'm Erlon Jones at the Fryeburg Fair, and I'm very pleased to be a part of the virtual fair here. I work at the Agricultural Exhibition Center every year, and I'm very pleased to be here. And tonight we're going to make some, for the virtual Fryeburg Fair experience, we're going to make some peach jam and some homemade English muffins. And we've done a little bit of pre-prepping with that and everything. So we'll throw it together and just have you see kind of how we do it. A lot of people ask, we're going to use peaches. We've got some nice Eastern peaches that we're going to use. And people ask, what's the difference between jelly and jam? And the difference is a jelly is fruit pulp strained through a cheesecloth, so it's very clear and opaque. Whereas a jam is just solid pureed or mashed up fruit. You can do either one, puree or mash it. And so that's what we did here. We took the peaches, and what we did was, I don't like chunks of fruit in my jam, so we took the peaches and we put them in the pot here. I pureed them, so there's no chunks. Some people say a true jam has chunks in it, but we'll do our own thing here. And I have some water on here for the jars that we're gonna scald here. So what we're gonna do is, I'll switch those out and we will get our fruit pulp cooking. I've got four cups of fruit pectin here. We're going to use our recipe. We're going to use 5½ cups of sugar, and we're going to use 1 packet of Sure-Gel. You can use Sure-Gel, you can use liquid pectin, whatever you want, and to add to it. And those are the ingredients. Some of the other recipes might call for a little bit of lemon juice, which will add to the flavor, but you can do whatever you want. They also make jelly recipes, jelly and jam recipes that have low sugar in them. So you can do that. So we got that bubbling. So we have our 5½ cups of sugar, and we have our fruit pulp cooking. So I'm gonna add the sugar to that, and we're gonna mix it up. You wanna make sure your sugar gets all dissolved in that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat this up till it's boiling. And as soon as that happens, what we'll do is we'll add in our Sure-Gel. And what that will do is you can make a jam or a jelly without the Sure-Gel. All it means is you have to cook it down a little more until it gets to jelly stage. But the older I get, the lazier I get. So I use Sure-Gel or Certo, and it also stretches it a little bit when you're making your jam. So we're mixing that right up there, and we'll heat that up till it cools. While that's cooking there, what I'm doing is I got my griddle all hot, the English muffins. I have them rising here with the yeast. And what these are homemade English muffins. You use a mixture of flour, shortening, salt, a little bit of sugar, and some yeast mixed up with water. And what I use a tuna fish can to cut them out of the flour. I rolled the dough out, rolled it in a little flour, patted it down, and cut these out. And what we'll do is, they've been rising up nicely for a little bit, and we'll put them on our griddle, and we'll be able to have some homemade English muffins to have with our jam over here. So I'll leave that out. We'll fry those up in just a few minutes, and we'll wait for this to boil. So our fruit pulp is heating up with the sugar, and doing that. Very pleased to be here at the Fryeburg Fair Farm Museum Kitchen. It's great to be back, and I'd like to mention we're also cooking all of our items today. We're letting the English muffins rise and the jam cook on a 1932 electric stove made by Hot Point, and it's all original with the just a new power cord, new safer power cord in the back. All original. The oven still works. And we've made a lot of good cooking things off from here. So it's very pleased to be here. Got some of our kitchen gadgets behind us, colanders, rolling pins, and all that. We even have a washboard, which I'm gonna stay away from. I don't like doing laundry. Okay, our fruit pulp and sugar is now boiling. So what I'm gonna do is add in my packet of Sure-Gel. And what that will do is that's actually fruit pectin that's powdered, and what that will do is that'll firm it up as a little bit of jelly. We're just going to let the Sure-Gel cook for about 1 minute, 1 minute only, and after that our jam will be all done, and we'll put it in some jelly jars. The type of jars you can use for it, you can use any type of glass jar. Some of the old timers like to use Gulf wax, which is actually paraffin wax. And I actually have a little bit of it here. Comes in this package. You can buy it in most any supermarket. And comes in these little blocks there. And you can melt that down. And what you would do is put a layer of it on top of the jar as opposed to a lid, and that would keep everything sealed in. They don't recommend that nowadays because it's not really that safe, but who knows? I think nowadays anything will kill you. All right, we've let this boil for about 1 minute. So I'm gonna set our finished jam out here, and I'll set our canner here. And what we'll do is we'll ladle some jam out into the jars. So I have a couple jars. What we recommend is we got hot water in here, and what we've been doing is scalding these jars for about 5 minutes. That's all you need. Gives it that little extra bit of protection. And we have those. I've got this, you wonder how I'm getting them out of the water. I've got one of these clampers. You get these at most hardware stores, and you can actually buy a lot of your canning stuff at Walmart. Nowadays, because canning is making a resurgence. It's very popular, and especially with COVID, people have been making things at home and doing all that. You can use regular jelly jars, you can use pint mason jars like I've got here, and those are all scalded. So let's try filling those. This logo is Erlon Jones Celebrity Chef. I did a cooking show many years here at Fryeburg Fair. We cooked a lot of things. We try to use Maine in New England ingredients, such as Maine blueberries, King Arthur flour out in Vermont, and Aroostook County potatoes. And so we always try to do things like that. And yeah, we had a really good time. So I'm glad to be back here at the fair and doing that for the virtual fair. Okay, so our jam is ready to pour into the jars. Before I do that, I'm going to take the English muffins and put them on a hot griddle. And what we'll do is we'll just cook them a few minutes on each side, and that cooks the English muffin. And we'll let it brown on one side, and then we'll flip it over. And they're made with yeast. They're really good. I'd say even better than Thomas English muffins. And all right, we'll put those out, and we'll have those cooking while we're spooning our jelly in. So you want to spoon your jam into the jars immediately. I keep calling it jam or jelly, but that's okay. For that, I use a special funnel made for canning. So what I'll do is just dip this in and pour that in. You'll want to leave about a 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of head space in these jars. And you can do that. And that's what one would look like. I'll fill up a pint jar, just to show you how that is. Like I say, you can use any size jar you want. I wouldn't recommend going over a pint jar, but several different sizes. You can also use different brand jars as well. So what we've done is we've filled up a couple, and I'll show you how to seal these. And, ow, that's getting hot. And those are your filled ones. What I'll do is I've scalded the canning lids that go on these, and to get them out of the hot water, I have a magnetic lid lifter. So I'm going to just take a damp rag, wipe the rim, and then I'll pull a couple of those out of the boiling water. And so rather than fishing around in there, what we'll do is pull them out like that. And they'll just lay right on the top of it and everything. And I have that doubled up. Be careful of that. And put that right there, and then we'll put a ring on it. You do not need to scald your ring because that just stays right on the outside. Turn it so it's just barely tight. And there. And what you do is you just put it in the boiling water bath for 5 minutes. There may be some old instructions that say you don't have to do this, just invert your jars. The latest methods that the canning jelly folks recommend is to just boil it for 5 minutes. And I find that's actually very good. I used to use the inversion method, but I had a lot of failed jars where they wouldn't seal or they'd pop open and get some fuzzy stuff in there that you don't want. So we're about ready to flip our English muffins. They browned up on one side, and we'll just take a spatula. Oh, look at that. That is a really good. I sprinkled the pan I put them on with cornmeal, and that's why you see some yellow powder there. That's the cornmeal. And I'm going to flip those over. And they sunk a little bit, and what we'll do is we'll brown those on each side. And those should be just about done, about the time it's ready for our jars to come out from processing in the boiling water bath. You can use a pressure cooker if you want to can jellies and jams, but it's not necessary. All you need is a boiling water bath for 5 minutes. Once again, I'm very pleased to have you folks here at our virtual Fryeburg Fair, here working in the kitchen at the Farm Museum, and we're just finished up our products. We took these peach jams out of the boiling water bath that we had for 5 minutes. We're going to let them cool. The tops eventually will plink down and they'll be sealed, and you'll have some great peach jam for this winter. And our English muffins are done. We've grilled them on both sides, and you can seal those up in a Ziploc bag afterwards. We'll pop one out of the toaster, and that we split it in half and popped in and did that. So we'll try our product out here. We'll ladle some nice peach jam on top of that. And normally you'd spoon it out, it'd be a little thicker where we just made this, but we can try it out anyway. So there's your homemade English muffins with homemade peach jam. And we've had a really good time here today. I hope you come back to the rest of the virtual Fryeburg Fair, and we'll just have a really good time with it. So, thanks again, and we'll see you later in the week.